My legion of leasers, my army of apartment maniacs, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about renewals. Does anyone want to take a guess of what's happening in the market right now? When you think in terms of renewals, what do you think is going on in the market? For those of us that it's a bit difficult to get renewals, why is it difficult for us to get renewals?
Lesser rents and specials in the area.
Yeah, competitors are offering lesser rents and specials. We just had one person on the call that was like, I'm doing that, right? I'm offering the lesser rent and specials. How do residents feel? I will tell you how residents feel. They're confused right now. They are very confused. They don't know if they're going to there we go. Boom. Okay, how do residents feel? Residents are confused. They don't know if they're getting the best deal that they have right now. They don't know if they put more pressure on you, if they can get a better deal. They don't know if they should start shopping around. They are very confused. And because of social media, because of all these devices that we walk around with, AI, artificial intelligence, knows that their lease is coming due, right? So they're bombarding them with ads for other properties. It is a very confusing time in terms of getting renewals if you're a leasing consultant, if you are a property manager. Okay, how do we feel? How does all this confusion make us feel? A lot of times we're confused, right? We tend to think, well, maybe our rents need to come down. They don't, flat out. They don't need to come down, okay? Maybe things will change and get less difficult. They're not going to get less difficult. It's still going to be a confusing time here in the future, okay? So we have to learn how to deal with these challenges, okay? How do we increase lease renewals even if our rent is going up? How do we increase lease renewals even if our prospects, our residents are confused? How do we increase lease renewals even if they're being bombarded because the artificial intelligence on every single device around them knows that their lease is coming due? How do we still get our renewals? How do we increase our renewals? And how do we keep our occupancy levels high? I want to take a few minutes and I want to explain that to you right now. Okay? There is only one time we cannot renew a lease. Okay? There's only one time. I'm going to tell you what that time is. And it's when that person has already signed a new lease with the competition, okay? When that person has signed a lease with somebody else, sorry, it's done, it's over. They have a legal requirement to go live there. We're done, we've lost the lease, okay? Here's the other question that I have for you. Who will talk to your resident about renewing? And I just alluded to this a second ago. Everybody and everything. Keyword being everything. It used to be that we would just worry about, well, maybe the roommate says they want to get a better place, or maybe the person's kid or their spouse. That's like, hi, that's like this much of it right now. Because of our devices, and because our devices are listening to us, and because our devices are now hooked up to artificial intelligence, they know that lease is coming due. So God bless them. I love them. Hi, co-star, you're great. Feature me in me and Jeff Goldblum in the next Super Bowl commercial. Wouldn't that be great? I have nothing against apartments.com. They're smart. They know your lease is coming due. They're going to be serving our residents lease ads, lease specials. Come and live with us. Check out our community. We have to be aware of that. There's nothing we can do to stop that. Okay? And we have to realize this, not reaching out to our prospects about renewing their lease is the worst service that we can ever provide. Because what's going to happen is they're going to go live someplace else. They're going to do it on a special, which if you're on leasinguniversity.com, I am not a huge fan of that. By the way, if that's how you live your life, might be a good idea to knock it out, okay? There's two things you don't want to manage your life with, specials, okay? There's two things you don't want to Use that to make your decision, like, was there a discount? Number one is where you live. Number two is gas station sushi, okay? If you're like, hey, it was 20% off the gas station sushi, good luck with the I don't know, the hepatitis, the listeria, the upset tummy at the very least, and not being able to go into work the next day. Same thing with where you live, right? If you're choosing where you live over a few percentage points here and there, or a week free, you're probably not going to be happy with where you live. Unfortunately, though, a lot of us in property management are not skillful, and we're not getting ahead of it with our residents, and we're not helping them understand the benefits, helping them understand the value, helping them understand the certainty and the less stress that they would have if they just continue to renew their lease with us. Moving sucks, guys. It sucks. It's scary. There is unexpected expenses every time you move to the tune of thousands of dollars, if not tens of thousands of dollars. There's furniture that's going to get broken. There's furniture that's not going to match. You're going to have to throw away all the stuff in your fridge. I'm not asking you to have this conversation with your residents. What I am asking you to do is reach out to them early and often about their renewal. Okay, so let's spend a couple minutes and let's talk about how we can reach out to them early and often. How do we reach out to them? What do we say when we leave a voicemail with them? You're like, what are you talking about leaving a voicemail? You should be calling your residents. If it's getting close to renewal time, reach out and touch someone. Well, don't actually touch them, but make a call, okay? Reach out to them, make contact. What are some of the things that we can say when we're reaching out to them? Okay, there's one thing that every single resident wants to give you. There's one thing that every person wants to give you, and it's not their money, and it's not their signature on the renewal, okay? And it's not their time, energy, and effort. But when you leverage the fact that every single person wants to give you your opinion, their opinion, you're going to find it becomes a lot easier to get them to call you back. Hey, Lisa, Matt Easton down here in the leasing office. Man, can't believe it's been 9 months already. We love having you here. Hey, there is something that came up today that I would love to get your opinion on. Can you give me a call here in the leasing office? 303-803-7372. Hey, there is something that came up here today. I was looking at your profile here, and there's something I wanted to get your opinion on. Not up talk, not disingenuous sales talk, right? Hey, Lisa, it's Matt in Meadows Apartments. Hope you're doing amazing. Just wanted to see if you wanted to renew your lease. Of course I would talk like that, right? I'm essentially being the used car salesman from the 1980s movies. All I'm missing is a Hawaiian shirt. Don't be that person, guys. Don't be that person that tries to suck up to somebody when you want something. Be skillful and professional. Hey, Lisa, Matt Easton down here in the leasing office. Hey, I was looking at your account today. I mean, I can't believe it's been 9 months since you moved in here. Love having you here. Hey, there's something I'd love to get your opinion on. Okay. Another thing that you guys need to keep top of mind as you're doing renewals is no-oriented questions. Okay. People have a predisposition to say no. You can use that to your advantage in lease renewals. Hey, calling to see if you're opposed to coming down to the leasing office, knocking out your renewal so it's one less thing you have to worry about over the next couple months here, right? Calling to see if it makes sense for you to swing down here or for me to email you over a link to knock out your lease renewal, see if you're opposed to knocking out your lease renewal so it's one less thing you have to worry about in the coming months. Let them know it's one less thing they need to worry about. In fact, it's hundreds of less things they need to worry about because it's not just the lease renewal. It's the who owns a truck to move my stuff? When am I going to move? Should I take vacation? What if I hate that place? Let them know. Hey, calling to see if I know your lease is not due for another 3 months. I wanted to reach out to you, get your opinion, see if you're opposed to just knocking out the lease renewal right now so it's one less thing you need to worry about as we get closer to the end of your lease here. You're going to be shocked, guys, when you have messaging like that at how often people will call you and go, man, yeah, dude, thanks for the heads up. I just got a new job and I'm like super heads down with yes, let's knock it out right now because they're having me fly to Tallahassee for training next month. I don't even think I'm going to be around. Okay, so yes-oriented questions, not great, right? Do you want to renew your lease? Hey, just calling to see if you wanted to knock out your lease renewal. In this case, don't ask them a yes-oriented question. Here's the other problem when you say, do you want to knock out your lease renewal? Or, hey, I was calling to see if you wanted to renew your lease. When you say no, that's a hard one to get a hold of. Hey, do you want to knock out your lease renewal? They might have been busy. And if they say no to that, you're in a position where you're like, well, what do I need to do to get you to stay living here? Okay, some other things I don't want you to say. Is now a good time to talk? Okay, so just be cautious with how you reach out to them, all right? Are you against? Are you opposed? People are always in the habit of saying no, okay? Is there a perfect time to knock out their lease renewal? No. So don't ask them, is it a good time? Just say, are you opposed to this? Or straight up, right out of your leasinguniversity.com closing, calling to see if it makes sense to knock out your lease renewal so you can have one less thing to worry about as we get closer here to the end of your lease, right? And when they give you pushback, well, I just don't like it because we've had the problems with AT&T cutting the internet off and that's been difficult. Totally understand how you feel. Everybody that's renewed their lease has felt the exact same way. What they found is just about every property has the issues with certain things and I'm going to own it with the AT&T and the internet. We are on top of that. We're getting it fixed. Does it make sense to renew your lease? Okay? Don't get into little micro arguments with them. Okay? Don't get into little tit for tat because of one little maintenance item or the internet was down or the security gate was jammed up. Because you're going to find that when you ask them for a lease renewal, they're going to use this as an opportunity to kind of unload on you because they've got leverage on you. Let them. It's fine. Don't try and win the argument. This is the worst time for you to get, well, you got to understand, it's not our fault. And AT&T with the internet down, they told us it was going to be up and we didn't have any control of that. You're not going to win that argument. Just own it. Totally get it. I'm going to raise my hand. I own that one. We are working with that vendor. I think every single person that's renewed their lease this week has let us know they feel the same way you do. They felt the same way when the internet was down. What they found is you're going to have those issues with every apartment community. We are committed to figuring this stuff out. We've got it in the future here. I've got a good relationship going with the internet provider. Does it make sense for you to go ahead and knock out your lease renewal? Don't get in an argument with them, okay? We've got to stay on point. So what I want to make sure that we're covering today is number one, we need to be calling our residents. I would call them early. I'd call them 90 days and 60 days. For sure call them 30 days. But let's get way ahead of this, okay? Say we've got an idea that we wanted to get their opinion on. If you want them to give you a call back. Okay? Or you can just skip right to your skillful close. Calling to see if it makes sense for you to knock out your lease renewal so it's one less thing you have to worry about. If they say no, be next step obsessed. NSO. Hey, calling to see if it makes sense to knock out your lease renewal so it's one less thing you have to worry about. No. Got it. What's a good next step? Well, I'm not sure. I'm really busy this week. I just got a new job and I'm in training. Totally understand. What's a good next step on my end? Or totally understand what's a good next step for me. Call me Tuesday afternoon. I'm really stressed out with everything that's going on with work for the remainder of this week. Perfect. I'll call you Tuesday 4:30 if I haven't heard from you before then. Fair enough? And then on Tuesday, hey Mike, Matt Easton down here in the leasing office. As promised, it's Tuesday afternoon. Calling to see if it makes sense to renew your lease. I'm not buttering them up. I'm not using any up talk. I'm not, how's your day going? Right? I'm not bribing them. I don't need to bribe them with a special, okay? Just stay calm, cool, and collected. What's a good next step for me? If they still say I don't know to what's a good next step for me, then set a next step. Totally understand. I don't want this to get away from us because a lot of times people will think, I'll get to it, and then a month goes by like that, and the next thing you know, they're unable to renew their lease and they're scrambling looking for another place to live. How about we do this? It's Tuesday today. I'll give you a call on Friday if I haven't heard from you before then. Fair enough? Right? If you put fair enough at the end of it, you can set that next step. Okay, guys, so that's what I wanted to cover today on our lease renewals. Does anybody have any questions on renewals or anything else? It is vital for us to reach out and handle this stuff so that it doesn't become an issue down the road. The way people rent apartments has changed. Today's renter has access to more information. Today's renter has more choices. The apartment industry needs you. Studies have shown that moving is the most stressful life event. The old sales training, well, it just doesn't work today. I'd like to teach you how to take the stress out of leasing apartments in a way that's meaningful to you and your renters and get you 7 times more leases. I'll show you how the perfect leasing process works. I'm gonna walk you through everything from answering the phone to closing the lease. I'm gonna show you how to determine your prospects' wants and their needs so that you can build value in your apartments. You will learn how to handle any objection or complaint. I'm gonna show you how to connect with your renter so it's easy for them to rent with you. I've taught the best property management companies and thousands of people just like you how to lease apartments. Property management is complicated. I'll simplify it for you. There's more competition than ever before. I'm gonna show you how to be number one. All of a sudden, your career, it's gonna make perfect sense, even if you've never worked in sales or property management before. And for the advanced property manager, I'm gonna show you how to take things to the next level. Leasing University is a new, simple, step-by-step process that's effective. We're gonna help you become a rock star in property management. I'm Matt Easton, and this is Leasing University.